Welcome to the Startup Funding Espresso. I'm Hall T. Martin, where we talk about how to raise funding and invest in startups and the time it takes to drink an espresso. If you have a question about startup funding or investing, please go to the website, startupfundingespresso.com, and type in your question into the chat bot in the lower right corner to receive an answer. I hope you enjoy this episode. Hello, this is Hall T. Martin with the Startup Funding Espresso, your daily shot of startup funding and investing. Startup funding comes in two forms, dilutive and non-dilutive. Equity funding is dilutive in that the fundraise reduces the ownership of the founders. Debt is non-dilutive in that the fundraise doesn't change the founder's ownership. Here's a list of non-dilutive funding options. Loans. These tend to be short-term loans from a bank. Grants. These are often acquired from government agencies who make grants to foster startup innovation. Rewards prepaid crowdfunding. This generates funding to startups in the form of prepayment for a product to be delivered later. Licensing. Funding comes in the form of licensing the technology to other companies who use the technology in their product. Tax credits. Funding comes in the form of tax breaks such as an angel tax credit offered by many states. Factoring. Funding comes in the form of short-term loans for manufacturing the product. Venture debt. A form of a loan which uses the startup's raised capital as collateral. Subscription-based financing. Loans to startups with recurring revenue that use the subscription revenue as collateral. Consider these non-dilutive funding options for your startup. Thank you for joining us for the Startup Funding Espresso, where we help startups and investors connect for funding. Let's go start listening to today. Hall T. Martin is the director of Investor Connect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early-stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of Investor Connect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions.